Hi everyone, welcome back to TS Talks. Hope you're all doing good, keeping safe. Hope you've all had a good weekend. Now, if you're not a football fan, you're probably not going to be interested in this one, and it's completely understandable. But the Premier League returned this weekend, after what was a short turnaround from the end of last season, which only finished in, mid-July after it was put on a forced break due to the, ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Now, just doing a brief review of the weekend. Obviously, the first game on the return was my team, Arsenal, beating Fulham 3-0, with debutant Gabriel scoring and, other debutant Willian having a good performance and getting in a couple of assists within that game also. In the next game, we had Crystal Palace beating Southampton 1-0, and, it was the main man for them, Zaha, who got on the score sheet. But I was quite impressed with the young guy, Eze, which, he only played for just over 10 minutes, but even within those glimpses, he really showed a lot of quality. He seems to be someone that glides past players with ease, and, I believe he's going to be a good signing for Crystal Palace, and he's going to do a good job for them going throughout the season. I don't really think it is much disappointment for Southampton. Obviously, they wouldn't want to lose, but Crystal Palace have got their goalkeeper to thank. There was a couple chances for them, especially in stoppage time, where Guaita prevented Southampton from grabbing that equaliser. So not the worst thoughts for Southampton. I'm sure they're going to have overall a relatively decent season. Then the third game, it was the champions of the Prem playing the champions of the Championship. And, it was a thrilling game ending 4-3. I actually watched this game with two of my brothers who, are Liverpool fans. And I have to say, from the neutral perspective, it was a really good game. It was proper end-to-end stuff. Prior to this game, you had Jurgen Klopp saying things such as, the way that Leeds play football is going to be better suited to them in the Premier League than it was in the Championship. And like I just said, overall, it was a really good game. And I have to say that, I think one thing Leeds will probably have to understand is maybe that way they play, it may not work in some games, but overall, I think they gave a good account of themselves. Was unfortunate, gave away two penalties, one of being a handball, and then one was late on in the game, which obviously led on to Liverpool grabbing the win. But, I can see that they've got a good team unit, and yeah, they look like someone that's gonna, I'd like to say they're gonna avoid a relegation battle this season. And I know it's just one game, but just looking on the way they played, thinking about when they played Arsenal back in January in the FA Cup, they really gave a good account of themselves. So I can only see positive things from them this season in the Premier League. The final game on the Saturday was West Ham, losing 2-0 to Newcastle. Now, for me, West Ham is one of the sides who I feel will get relegated this season. It's quite clear things aren't good at the club, and I believe that's mainly to do with the boardroom. And, a lot of players at the club were angry that they sold, the young prospect, Dean Garner. And, Mark Noble, the captain of the club, stated his disappointment online, which kind of, sums that up in quite full effect. Moving on to the games that took place yesterday, you had West Brom, who lost 3-0 to Leicester, which was unfortunate after they'd played quite well in the first half. At half-time it was 0-0. I was thinking, they're not doing so bad here. But, second half things happen, and yeah, it doesn't end the best of days for you. And then the second game on Sunday was Spurs losing to Everton. And I have to say, Everton looked really good. Everyone's talking about the signings they've made in the summer. And, it's a kind of in a sense, a new look team. And I have to say, Alan, who, as far as I'm aware, he received man of the match. He had a very good game. Doucouré, someone I actually wanted Arsenal to get. He had a good game for Everton also. And I think James Rodriguez, he played really well. And, it's a big season for James Rodriguez because, in a sense, he's kind of, rebuilding his career. He's been at some clubs that hasn't really quite worked out for him. But he had a good game in this game against Spurs. And, it'll be interesting to see how he gets on throughout the season. Calvert-Lewin, the guy that got on the score sheet for Everton, with a headed goal. You know, Richarlison had a couple chances, you know, to maybe have put Everton ahead prior. And yeah, it's interesting, you know, after the game for Spurs, Mourinho stated how he wasn't happy with the team and, you know, mentioned words such as lazy and stuff. And it's, you know, I'm not a Spurs fan, but if I was, I'd be a bit concerned, you know, like Mourinho looked a bit rattled. And, you know, I know it's only one game in and there's not so much you can read into stuff, but it's like he looks a bit rattled already. And the way he looks at the moment is a bit like that beginning of that season in his last season at United, where he looked a bit, you know, like fed up with the players. You know, if you've watched that documentary and, you know, the All or Nothing documentary, he said stuff about Dele Alli being lazy. And then, you know, he subs him off at halftime for tactical reasons, which, you know, I'm not too sure whether that's going to help Dele Alli mentally or not. Only time will tell, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with this Tottenham side this season. You know, I definitely think there's someone that's going to be, you know, going for that top six. I don't think they're top four worthy at present. Neither do I think Arsenal are as well. I think both clubs have got some additions that they need to make. And then maybe they've got a chance. I know tonight Brighton's playing Chelsea. I know Lampard said that a few of the new signings might not be ready and whatnot, so we'll see what happens there. But for Brighton, I'm quite interested in what they've got going on over there. You know, the likes of Tariq Lamptey, recently signed Lallana. Then they've got the likes of Morpie, Lewis Dunk. So they've got a decent side. Even the guy in midfield, Yves Bissouma. So they've got a decent side, and I believe they're a team this season that also, you know, shouldn't be caught up in any sort of relegation battle. But again, only time will tell. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it all. You know, you can let me know your thoughts on it if you're into the sports. I know if you're not into sports, you're probably not even listening now. But yeah, is what it is. Hope you're all good. Hope you've all had a good weekend and you have a good start to the week. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button now. And I'll catch you next time.